Good morning, Fabien. I look forward to going through this whole 3D and XR exercise with you. So please take it away. Please tell me what to do. I don't have any model yet, so that's probably going to be our first thing, right?
Good morning, Frode. Yes, we indeed need a model. What I suggest, if you're fine with it, is I'm hands-free because I know how all this works, hopefully. But the idea would be the perspective of a user who wants to tinker with it, who hates the background or have a preference for other kind of visuals. And they might have one, they might not have one. So if I understood correctly, you don't have one. So we can start by trying to find one. Is it okay if you share your screen and you try it?
Absolutely. So the format is GLTF, right?
Indeed.
I'm having problems finding good GLT, well, even basic GLTF. I search for it and I end up with object and all kinds of other things. So was it Turbo Squid, or where did you think is a safe place to search?
So for this, even though you will not like the style, Poly Pizza, because it's low poly, it's not, ironically enough, it has nothing to do with being low poly, but I know that they usually provide working GLB. So those ones should work.
So what we aim for today is, what do you think is more achievable? A kind of a background office room, or an object for the room, or a distant city object?
Well, actually, the easier, maybe let's grab the tree as something that will sit in the room, because hopefully, like even with the computer, sure, whichever you prefer.
Oh, good. You can easily see my cursor. Good, good.
Yes,
So I download this guy,
yes.
uh, GLTF.
So GLB is even better. GLTF. So yes, you can download it. GLB is binary format for GLTF, which means everything packed as a single file. GLTF is the more in-depth format, basically. So that's the environment, which already has some trees that actually look very similar. So we'll have to distinguish it. I know, yeah, we're doing the back, so actually it's better.
It's
Yeah.
something might be up here.
Yeah, and if you look down, I guess.
Sorry.
So that's kind of the trick or the problem with this is it seems to have worked because we see it there. We don't visually see it. And there are a couple of things that can happen. First, you can have a bug. Maybe it doesn't work. But we'll assume there isn't. And it means maybe you're sitting on it or maybe you're inside it. Like the scale can be totally off. You can look in the console. Here it looks all good. Namely, first, there is no red line. And then it mentions the file. And it says, done filtering. So that looks good. So we can do a little bit of egg hunt or treasure hunt. So move around, maybe move also with the keys, like to virtually slide around. And if it's not there, I don't see it. You can like really step way, 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 way out because maybe, like I said, it's gigantic. No.
Yeah, this is one of the aspects I look forward to talking to you about later, using the full spatiality of XR. Considering the constraints of someone's office, that's going to be a big.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so here, I mean, here it is, but in a different form. Right.
So what we can do on desktop when you're not in VR, which normally that's you would do, you would set up the room before getting in. What you can do is Control Alt I for the inspector, or the equivalent on Mac, maybe Command Alt. Yes, perfect. So that's the inspector. And so if you, for example, scroll out with the mouse wheel.
I don't have a mouse wheel.
Then maybe if you gently caress the mouse, I don't know what's the equivalent.
I'm just trying different command control.
Well, then if you go to the last one in that column, the GLTF model, if you click on it, no, you were on it. No, the first, the one at the bottom, GLTF model, down, down, down.
Oh, right, right, yeah.
And here it says the right thing, namely Macintosh Classic. And it looks all right, namely position in the center, no rotation, scale is normal. So I'm not sure how you can zoom out without a mouse wheel, because that would allow to step up. Yeah, that looks and look, it's down. So do it again, please.
How do I look down?
Stop. So now you see the little arrows in colors, and you can bring it up with a green one. Yeah, and voila, it's there. So it was there, but it was like on the floor, basically. Voila.
Okay.
So it's good actually that the problem happened to you, because it's a classic. Like, it happens all the time. And you start freaking out, like, oh, but everything should work, and there is no error message, and like, where is my freaking 3D model? So here it is. What if you go back again to GLTF models, you can click on it on the.
Oops.
Yeah, you can
I
go back
went
to the
back to
thing. That's
C,
okay.
but here it is.
It is there indeed. So that's it. You uploaded your first 3D model, and it is there. So that's nice. And it's exactly the same principle for the environment on the back. If you're curious, if you go on the yeah, you can adjust, you can rotate it. There are plenty of things. It is though not permanent, so don't spend too much time on it. Namely, if you refresh the page now, it's gone.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that. But now it's at least in a more user-friendly position.
Yes. And then there are ways to make it permanent. There are ways to save it. We don't have to do this right now. But anyway, the point is, I was not aware of this model. You found it somewhere on the internet. You drag and drop, and that's it. You can start to manipulate it. So it's the same principle for the background. It's just a bigger model, but it's literally the same thing. So if you inspect the scene again on the top left button, and if you click on the entity environment, so I think it's the fifth or sixth one. And here you can see GLTF model on the right. So the same principle. This one is online. I already uploaded it. Just for the fun of it, you can untick visible on the top right. And voila, you're in a free environment, normal model. And it's exactly the way it's done in VR. It's hideable. The idea here is that if you enter in AR, you don't want that. You want your real room with a real bookshelf and whatnot.
So class hideable environment, is that something that, so if I give this ID, call it Mac, right? I can do that, first of all?
Yes.
And secondly, class collidable, yes, but how would I now tell it to be possible to be hideable? That's something to really do from here.
You probably wouldn't. Because it's an object you want to interact with, unlike the environment on the back. So it's probably.
But let's pretend we do want to add such a parameter that you programmatically access. Is that something, one of these things?
I'm not sure you can do that through that interface, but it's something that would be useful for me, for example, because that's what I meant earlier by semantic annotation. And if we had different level of affordances in the room based on being foreground, background, all this, that's exactly the kind of information I would need. Namely, we decide together, it's foreground, background, it's usable, hideable in XR, AR, whatever, and then I can easily act on it. But it's something that it's probably possible to do that, but with the inspector, it becomes a bit complex.
Right.
Yep. So you want to try with the environment itself?
Well, now that you got me addicted to this stuff.
That's the
Um,
spirit.
yeah, let's do that. Stop me if you see something particularly suitable. Or maybe even here, art gallery, something very simple. Should we try that?
Up to you. That's
Actually,
the
let's do the apartment because it's only one room. Download GLB.
Mhm.
Allow that. That's okay. Go back to, hang on, I got the zoom bar obstructing here. Not here. There it is. So now, of course, I would probably want to delete some other things before I do this, but let's start with this. There we go. Oh, okay. That's
So
actually
sometimes you're lucky.
okay.
It's about
Yeah,
the right size.
I don't think I would do anything with this. If I now go in the headset, will it be like this
No.
because of the reload?
Yes. But it's okay because so I will have to look it up, but I gave a couple of examples where you basically can load an additional file and, for example, hide the environment. So there are ways where, again, without me touching any part of the code, you would have something hopefully good enough without, yeah, that you can use in the headset, I mean.
Very good. Thank you, Fabien from Brussels.
My pleasure. Fraud from London or Cambridge.
So this conversation is carried almost exclusively through light. We're using screens and fiber optic cables
Yes.
all the way.
Yes.
I think that's quite extraordinary.
One thing that it went actually a bit too well for my taste, which is good, but one thing in case it doesn't go so well, um, yeah, for example, here if you can hide the environment now that you know how to do this also with the inspector, so in the top, and if you look back, maybe the room feels a bit too big. And
Should
how
we
you
maybe change the orientation of the room?
Yes, so let's do those couple of things. So if you go back to the so you need to find it. Yeah. So you can do inspect scene again. And then you need to find it. So you can click on it directly on the brown part, I guess. And hopefully, yeah, if you look at the right panel, then you can see GLTF model apartment, which looks good. And then you have all those properties. So you already find on the selection aspect, yeah, and you can confirm this way. And also, what I want to highlight is this part, namely changing rotation, position, all this. It's very finicky, and to be upfront, I find it a bit tedious. Which is also why I made this kind of things like the upload or letting you load the inspectors that you can spend whatever time you need. Some people will want to spend days on this and
Yes.
others don't care at all. So I think having the possibility of doing it is nice. And again, it can be permanent after. So if you click back on the model,
Still have
so
it.
yeah, no. So the trick there is that there are a lot of stuff in front of it. So you need to look somewhere where you imagine, yeah, exactly, perfect. And you can confirm on the right, you see GLTF model apartment. So yeah, you can change also the position, rotation, the scale. I think this looks big actually.
I think it looks like a reasonably big thing, but tell you what, Fabian, why don't you go or I go in the headsets and then we load it in again so we can do showing it from the headset. Should we do that?
So now I need to think a bit, and it's a
I
bit
can just
early. So
drag and drop it.
sure, we can actually do this. You mean, yeah,
So
we
we
can
learn
still.
this by reloading and then we do it again while I share from the headset. How about that?
So you want to share the. So you can do it from the. So you can be in the headset and interact with your desktop. Wait, don't send them to me.
Okay.
It's already on the server,
Okay.
so I can already use them as is.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying because if I share, then I won't be able to access my Mac. Not sharing.
Can't you swap windows on it?
No. It takes over the whole screen. That's one of the downsides of.
So thinking what's the easiest way.
Oh, I've had problems sharing, by the way. I wonder why. Okay, you can at least see that. And to make it not so visually annoying,
so I made a new link. I'll
if you
put
text
it.
it to me, if you that's the easiest way for me to access in the headset.
Sure, I'll do that. So I need. And it's a nice way actually to show the flexibility without being overriding the experience of others. So hopefully if it works. So I'll text it to you. So I texted it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
it is there. So you did that. So that's great.
So the little explanation while you load it is that there are parameters in the URL which allow to do things like hiding and showing elements, like the big background, but also showing files. And because you drag and drop the GLB, it's now a file that can then be loaded. I think honestly, it's pretty cool that it worked as expected because I was not aware of this 3D model. You just suggested it. And not only it works, but now whoever used that URL will have access to it the way you designed it.
I just made this box big by accident, but that's another story.
So
that's interesting. So now, yeah.
you can squish it back basically. And
Yeah.
if you pick in the middle of the blue sphere, yeah, you'll see the behavior is different.
It's
Namely,
perfect.
now it flattens in order to be parallel to the ground, basically.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. I saw that yesterday. I'm very happy. Yeah, this is all very good. This makes a lot of sense. And one thing that I want to talk to you about later, as you know, is the ability to move around a little bit is so important for XR. You know, what I'm doing now is unique compared to sitting with a frame. So, and also the instructions, right pinch to move in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
From a seated position, it's an annoying background. From a standing position, because your mobility is different, it becomes more of an interesting utility. So this is all very exciting, basically. So Pro unlocks more. What's that? Is
I
that
have
something?
no idea.
Oh, it must be the model, maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I thought it was when you saw that when you showed it, I was like,
Oh no, it's in something. That's interesting. It's Sky Guy.
okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
But why would that be visible inside the XR environment?
I think it should not, but apparently they manage.
Oh, and now we have Safari inside the WebXR environment.
I mean, Safari inside it, that's cool. That can be useful, but the kind of ad by something else, I don't approve of it.
So when it's used, we drop out of it.
By the way, now that you have Safari in there, I think it could be interesting, maybe not now, and I'm not sure how to do this, but to drag and drop files from the Finder in here, like in downloading a GLB, basically, and uploading it back directly without leaving the headset.
Do you want me to drag from here onto space?
I don't know if it's feasible, but it would be interesting to try. We don't have to do it now though. Up to you.
Okay, so one thing, it says download highlight image. So how do you highlight something? To tell it.
Do you mean the text?
No, anything. How do you highlight? Like it said to export, to drag to the desktop, you need to tell the system what it is, right?
I'm not sure I understand.
In order to take this purple cylinder out of here onto something else, I need to be able to highlight it, to hold it, to focus it. How do I do that?
I still don't understand because you when you pinch in the middle, you can move it. Do you mean the? I don't understand.
Okay, so when I'm here, it says download highlight image.
No, this is disabled. Let's say.
Okay.
You might get like because you remember it was the blue highlight where you looked at, and it was visually disturbing to keep it on, so I disabled it.
So let's say I want to take this red square thing, and as you said, and take it out. How do I select it in order to do that?
No, I meant the other way around, but it would be interesting to export part of the scene. I meant rather that if you go now on Polypizza, on the on the Vision.
Hang on. I think Brando sent me a model. Oh, USDZ you cannot use, right?
No.
Okay. All right. So let's do what you said then. I'm sorry. Okay. So what was it? Poly pizza?
Yeah.
Office pack.
No.
Okay.
Because that's an ad for things that are ironically enough not low poly and not a single file. So like the chair or the stapler, not a full environment, because if it's wrong scale when you're in VR, honestly, it's disturbing. Yeah. Sure.
And then what?
So that's the question mark. Is like, where is the file stored now? I imagine in the file browser of the Vision Pro.
Yeah, let's say, oh, that was cool. Isn't
So
that
ideally, go back to the companion page.
you mean drag across here? That could be interesting. No, okay, let me see the file browser
Yeah.
on here, which
Yeah,
is
it was there. It was there.
all right. This is exciting. Hang on, that's not what I want to do. Less of an overlap. You talked about dragging it across, right?
Well, just as you would do on desktop, like you drag and drop, but in the top right corner, it has to be. And I'm not sure if that's maybe Safari doesn't support it like this. I'm not sure.
Oh, it doesn't.
But it's even if it doesn't work this way, it's interesting in the sense that it means what I can also add is like upload file button instead of drag and drop, because then I imagine that would open the Finder or the file browser of the Vision Pro and probably of the Quest 2, and that would allow this kind of workflow to also work. Hopefully, I mean it should. If drag and drop like this is not because it's an OS.
Yeah.
It's an OS or a Safari limitation, I would say. Maybe Brandel knows.
I'm just having problems grabbing it. it gives me this ridiculous menu that I just don't need like a long press it, which I'm not doing. Right.
Maybe it's not possible. Huh? I don't know.
Doesn't look like it, but it's as you said, it's an interesting option.
Yeah, if we think it's a if we think it's a workflow that would be important, I imagine like an upload button would make it possible. A little bit less smooth, arguably, but still works.
So my final comments for being inside here is on the vision, the text is as expected, very, very sharp. The rest of the environment, very clean. So this is very, very useful. It's a space one can imagine working in. So yeah. Also, do you see this little battery thing here? I have a specific tailor-made pocket for it. But the funny thing is, I designed that jacket maybe 20 years ago, and it was designed to have a mobile phone. So that's a useful repurposing.
Give me 10 seconds. I'll show you something funny on the topic.
I will, what, in this environment, or should I stop sharing?
I'm back. Yesterday, thanks to my lovely neighbor, we did a sewing session, and we did this little pocket, which is about the right size. And I was jokingly chatting with her, saying that I would do also casing or housing for all the XR weird things, like the pen for the Quest or whatnot. So I think it's indeed an interesting possibility that whatever we want, it doesn't stop at XR, but goes beyond to better interface. Anyway, do you want to also discuss about spatial volume of knowledges and background, foreground, semantic annotation of the 3D elements of a scene?
Yes, and that brings us to the other topic of today. All I'm suggesting is that we primarily have a standing environment. That's what this big article I wrote. That's basically it. And I sent it to Mark, and he's, as he would be, because he's so clear, says, because I presented as a pivot, he said, this is not a pivot, this is what we already talked about and agreed. So, you know, that's lovely. So what I'm suggesting is simply that our focus on a seated person is wrong. My professional, intellectual, whatever you want to call it, stress, I think has been across that, because we aren't really unlocking XR. So what you and I just did in this environment where I was walking around, it is a world of a difference. You're not in a sphere anymore. So hang on, I'll just have to tell Mark I'm in a meeting.
He heard his name.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, right. I don't mind if that's on the record. That is part of the conversation. Right. Not. I don't know. Anyway, so the Brandel pinch and the whole thing moves, or the soft space grab and the whole thing moves. I'm not saying we can necessarily build that in the architecture we have now. It is going to be important because not everyone will have an entire wall. I would have liked to design for a physical wall that is the back that you can touch, and then you can do many layers in front of it.
So two quick things. Well, the first one, I have to go in 5 minutes. But the more serious thing, the two ones are, number one, the way that you change the volume of the desk, the yellow thing, will be the same for let's say a panel on a wall. Namely, you would pull it up and adjust basically, and because it would snap the same way. So you can imagine having multiple of those, like for the desk, for the wall, and whatever, and also make them permanent. So that would work, I think. assuming like a couple of tricks, but basically that the floor is we're parallel to the floor, but namely that your table is flat parallel to the floor, and the walls also, it's a simple room, like for example here my home office or yours, namely when you start you're about so there are cubes basically. If you have curved walls, or if the walls are like some kind super slanted or whatnot, that's not going to be as easy. Still feasible, but not more work, I guess. And the second point is pinching in the air to move the whole environment. I did a demo like this month, if not years ago, where you pinch in the nothingness and then you move all the elements except the background maybe. But the same, like if we do have a 3D scene that is not one single GLTF, but a GLTF or GLB, or is DSC or whatever, it doesn't matter, and we semantically annotate it to say, for example, background, foreground, and then we decide the foreground moves but not the background, for example, when we do a pinch in the air. I want to say that's not a problem.
Okay, that's fantastic, because um, the notion of a hand menu, a wrist menu, and all of these things, now that we're really shaping up, and I think that Bob Horn's work is a real inspiration for us. You know,
Mhm.
starting in 2D, going 3D, doing all kinds of magical things with it. The way that I'm looking at it now, I'm kind of calling it XR extensions. So I could imagine in XR, you can write a normal document. That's fine, but you insert diagrams, and when you then put a headset on, those can explode. So we're not at this stage concerned with exploding the normal basic text. We are concerned with the user being able to explode different things. So the first stage, I think, Bob Horn style, you make your own mural. Not all academic papers will need that. So
Right.
if you have a data set for a reference, which we expect to have, there should also be an exploded citation view, right? So it's the point is just having a heading with text and then that fine at some point, but to be able to really do it richly will be amazing.
No problem there. What would be helpful for me is a couple of examples, like
I'm
mockup
bringing
of,
my sketch pad out today.
and then tomorrow it's done. Wonderful.
It does need visualizations in a rough way, absolutely.
Yes. Because the concept of exploding, I get it. I still need to see it, and ideally, once that's a couple of sketch, then it becomes a couple of files done by Mark, for example. But some of the pieces again are there, and when I'm working on the back end, it's to enable also this kind of things, so it will fit in place.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I think what's been in the group very useful over the past few weeks, because sometimes it's been quite tricky, is what to get rid of, what to not do. You know,
Indeed.
now it's all about, I got stuff, I'm going to make a shape for someone else to understand it. That's the key core.
One quick thing also in terms of, for example, Bob's mural, the same thing, namely, like, for example, reshaping the desktop or the desk as an element to put things on or interact with, like this setup step, I think could be, let's say you make it very low opacity and it becomes a kind of volume lasso, where if you have this cube, let's say, and you have elements in it, then they become, let's say, highlighted. And if you have 3 or 4, they become part of the same group, so they are like semantically related. I think that it's probably an easy or convenient way to do it, but to try, maybe we prefer like pinching individually elements and say that's a group or something like that. But same, like in terms of implementing this, that seems that doesn't seem problematic, at least.
We'll probably need both interactions from my experience with the map in author, sometimes one on one. Very often you want to do that, and also by category will be important.
Mhm.
So all that stuff we can then get into. All right, very good. I will upload this video. Well, I'll edit it, you know, loading screens and whatnot. So thank you. I look forward to Monday